What do you get when you mix a dynamic and inclusive theater company with military veterans and families that really have something to say about their experience with post-traumatic stress and their place in society? Well, you get a production called Monarch or Monarch, and that's what we're going to talk about today. You know, they say that Quebec's Eastern Townships really has it all. Great services, dynamic cultural events, beautiful landscapes, fantastic people, and I agree. You know, now in this web series, we introduce you and we help you learn more about the organizations, the services, and the topics that are important to English speakers living in this fantastic part of Quebec. So here we go. Welcome to About Townshippers. Monarch is a Canada-wide theatre project created by Le Théâtre des Petites Lanternes, and they're based right here in Sherbrooke, Quebec. Now the project gives a voice to veterans, military families, and their loved ones while exploring the impact that operational and post-traumatic stress injuries and marginalization have on their lives, and the impact that they have on our society as a whole. Angèle Séguin is the theatre's artistic director, and she's with us today to talk about this unique and, well, rather groundbreaking initiative. Well, good afternoon, Angèle, and welcome to About Townshippers. Le Théâtre des Petites Lanternes is, really known for its inclusive and community approach to theater production. In fact, there's even a saying that you guys have, which is, it's where art and humanity grow and transform together. So with that in mind, the Great Harvest of Words, which is an important approach in your theater, it's a really great example of that. So where does the Great Harvest of Words come from?
During my career, I work a lot with many groups and people in Quebec and everywhere in the world, And I work with them to write about their reality, to write play, to have a better understanding about their life and what's happened. And one time, one of this group told me, "Oh, it's very interesting what you do, and we appreciate it very much. But at the end, in the scene, it will be just your word, just your minding of you, like a playwright. We're going to hear about you." They said it's not really what we want, because at this time, everywhere there is always a representative, for us, and you do the same thing. You just hear us and you write what you think you would like to write, And I said, "Oh, it's very interesting. Which way I could use to include more voice in my playwright, And I start to research everywhere in the world, different way to write play, to work with the community, how the artists went to meet them and to work with them. And at the end, I developed the first Great Harvest of Words, and it's happened here at Sherbrooke in 2007. And this process, include a way how I can go and meet the people in the community. It's with a notebook, and it's what I was looking for, and it's what I find, a way how to develop a notebook to use their voice in it.
And so now, if I understand correctly, the Great Harvest of Words is really a considerable part of the theater's approach, your theater's approach to its productions. And there's one in particular that I really want to talk about today, and it's called Monarch.
Yes.
Could you give us a brief description of that project?
In 2017, there was a man, his name is Gilles Vigé, write us an email and said, "Okay, I would like to meet you and to speak about a project, with the Great Harvest of Words, especially with this process, And it is a son of a veteran, and he was with his friend Robert Gou, president of Eastern Township Veteran Committee, And they asked me if we could use the Great Harvest of Words to speak about PTSD, about what's happened with veterans and the impact on their family. And I was a little bit surprised because I never know to write around military, war military or PTSD or nothing like this. And at the same time, always I was a little bit shocked. And I thought to myself, okay, if it's not so easy for me, it's important to work on it. Because I imagine it's not so easy for all the community. There is two worlds, there is civil world and there is military world. How can we use the Great Harvest of World to open a dialogue between those two worlds, you know, and the PTSD, especially PTSD.
Your theater is known for, taking on, delicate or, or sensitive, complex issues that create a dialogue that nourish dialogue in the community. But once again, with that in mind, I mean, talking about military issues or, post-traumatic stress disorder, I mean, that's a whole other kettle of fish. And I imagine you have to do it very, very carefully because of certain ideas or even prejudices that people in the community could have towards the military world.
Yes, you're right. What is very special with the Great Harvest of World, we know we work with very complex subject, very sensitive, So first time, what I'm doing is to build a steering committee. And this committee is organized with people who are from those community, So under Monarch Project, there is military, there is veteran, there is a member of family, there is a help for family, there is a researcher, there is artistic team, and all those people work with me to help us to open the door. We could not open if they were not there. It would not be possible. It's so sensitive. It's so complex. To help, to guide me and to guide the artistic team, to be sure we use the good way, to open a dialogue. And this steering committee worked with us to develop the citizen notebook. Like I said before, in this process, people write in the notebook, So they help us to not to tell us how to do, but just to try this notebook, if it's going well or not. And it's very interesting to test with them. They're very open with that.
So that notebook and the notebooks that you use in other productions,
yes,
is like the Bible, right? If I understand correctly, it's the heart of the production. That's where you as a artistic director and your team, that's where you get the ideas and the inspiration for the production. Is that?
Yes, but it changes on each production, When we have a new production, it's not the same,
I understand. Okay.
We have to be very, very near to be sure we have a good understanding about what's happened in this community, which we work with,
So it's a skeleton for every production, that notebook.
Yes. Well, what we try to these notebooks is, I don't want judgment. It's very, very important. So this notebook it's just a guideline, to help people to write in it. And for me, it's very important. The notebook help them to open their heart, to open their mind, and to feel free to write to me what they want to say about the subject,
Now, if you asked 10 people to sit down and write their feelings or express themselves on paper or, on the computer, I bet it would be pretty tough for a lot of them. So you guys have workshops. You guys do workshops right across the country. That's where you're meeting the veterans there where they are. So how do the workshops, how does that work?
The workshop, usually it's in presence, but we are in COVID time. But
sorry, I just want to correct. So it's in person.
It's in person, yes.
Okay.
Sure. Sorry. And during the workshop, for this kind of project, there is it's animate workshop, So I'm still there, and there is social worker with me, or with my colleague too, because it's so sensitive. Like we said before, it's so complex. We don't know. It's very emotive too. we don't know what will be happen when the people will start to write, you know. And so for me and for steering committee, we are very sensitive about this perspective, you know. And during the workshop, there's still a social worker, but during the pandemic, we had a virtual workshop. But there is still a social worker at the same time. But it's a little bit more difficult because when we are in person, it's easier to see, this person didn't feel very well. I'm gonna take time with her or with him and to speak about outside of the place where we are. But in the Zoom, it's a little bit more difficult to look at that and to see at this woman or this man, okay, we're gonna take time to go outside. And it's not the best way, but we have realized very, very nice Zoom.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If I was able to, I'd much prefer to do this interview with you in person than through a screen. But you know, we've become very flexible and very adaptable, you know, since the beginning of the pandemic. And so it shows once again, you know, one of the strengths of Le Théâtre des Petites Lanternes, this flexibility and the way that you guys are able to modify your activities depending on the needs. And well, now so far, what kind of feedback? Now I know that you guys are still in, we'll talk about that in a second, you're still in the building stages, but what kind of feedback have you received from the participants, even though it's been on Zoom?
The most of time, the principal feedback is it's let us more free. So something was more open at the end, and it's like more legitimate. Can we use this?
More legitimate? It legitimizes how they're feeling, or it takes into consideration what that weight that they've been carrying. They feel considered, I guess.
Yes, and they know when they go on the sidewalk and they meet a civil man or woman, how we look at them. They feel about that, and after this process, they feel like, okay, now I can understand more the point of view of civil men or women about us, but I can say more how I feel in my military life and why it's like that, you know.
So that message, or that happy medium between civilian life and military life. Okay.
Yes, what I'm looking for is who are the links before us and them, you know, where we can join us together.
So where's that meeting place, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And now, very briefly, before we head out into the conclusion, where are you guys now? Now you have the notebooks done, you've done the workshops and the Zoom meetings. So are you in the writing process now, or the?
Yes, we are in the writing process now with my colleague, and we are two co-playwriters, and we start to look about all this material. It's very, very interesting, but there is a lot of material. Like we have done Zoom meeting, we have received a lot of notebook and very, very interesting information. So we are right in this process, and until fall 2022, where that's going to be the first time where we're going to see the play at the Centre Culturel de l'Université de Sherbrooke.
You beat me to the punch. I was going to ask you, when can we expect to see the final production? So it'll be another year to go then.
Yes.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it's very important to take time to be sure, not just the process, but what we're going to say. We will be able to translate their voice, you know, because it's the process, you know, to be sure their voice will be well received and well done.
Will there be bilingual presentations, or is it mostly in French? Or?
Oh, very interesting. Thank you. All the process is bilingual. And we don't know at the end if the presentation will be one in French and one in English, or bilingual. But for sure, that's going to be in both language.
So the project is called Monarch, and so I can see the reference now to the butterfly.
Yes.
So I guess butterfly means transformation and renaissance, I guess. And this seems like a wonderful project to help the community and veterans
Yes.
grow and come closer together as everybody learns a bit more about PTSD. So, well, look, Angèle Seguin, you are the artistic director at au Théâtre des Petites Lanternes, and you've been really kind to take a few minutes to talk to us about that project called Monarch. And we really look forward to follow up chats with you to see how the project is going.
Thank you very much to you, and to have to take time to speak about this nice project. Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about Monarch or any other project that Le Théâtre des Petites Lanternes is working on, well, check out their website, their YouTube channel, and their Facebook page. Now, for those details and also for the theater's contact information, well, the magic place, as usual, is right down here in the video description. So don't hesitate to share and to like your favorite episodes of this web series. It really helps us know what content is most popular. And as usual, it helps us spread the information and the news throughout the Eastern Township's English communities. And you can also subscribe to Townshippers Association's YouTube channel. So thanks a lot for spending a bit of your time with us today. My name is Ed Humphrey. This is About Townshippers, and we'll see you next time.